Hello, everyone. Good evening, everybody. Thanks for waiting and thanks for your patience. And thank you so much for joining us today. Good evening, Sucharita ma'am. Good evening, Himangi ma'am. Hello. So, if everyone's set to go, let's begin with today's webinar. In today's webinar, we want to introduce you to a very interesting program that we've come up with over here at CENTA. And it's a program for school leaders, whether you are currently a school leader, having worked as a school leader for just a few years or for a lot of years, or you're currently not at all a school leader and you're currently just a teacher and want to and are looking for that kind of career growth, then we have a program for you. And we call it the CENTA School Leadership Program and Certification. And the two members that I have here today with me are participants from our very first batch of the program, Miss Radhika and Miss Jason. And I will begin with an introduction of myself. I am the program lead for the CENTA School Leadership Program. So I basically manage the program end to end, and I will be your POC for everything related to the school leadership program. Why don't you, Ms. Radhika and Ms. Jisal, also introduce yourself to our participants today?
Yeah. Can I? Do I go first?
Yeah,
Sure.
please go on.
All right. So, good evening to everyone. Good evening, Shiksha. Good evening, Jaisal. I'm Dr. Radhika Srinivasan. I'm principal at the Billabong High International School, Malad. This role is new to me, but I am not new to principalship. I've had two very successful stints as principals. And my focus or my objective of taking this program was to see how do I measure up with my peers, learn from the best practices of my peers, and bring back the learnings to my school so that I could perhaps craft a leadership journey for my mid leadership. And it has been an enriching program, very, what should I say, very immersive and engaging. And I hope that many of you would take the plunge and do this program, because school leadership is a complete different ball game, completely different from leadership in many other areas. Even corporate leadership would not measure up to what school leaders have to manage. So hopefully many of you would be enthused after listening to Jaisal and me. And for those of you who are still very hesitant, uh, please do take it head on. I'm sure you will enjoy the program.
Thank you so much, Radhika ma'am. And I really like how you said that school leadership is maybe far more complex than a corporate leadership. And I'm going to talk about that in a bit. But why don't you, Jaisal, why don't you introduce yourself as well?
Okay, hello everyone. My name is Jaisal and I am a school leader at SSMI currently in Delhi. And I've been a school leader in the past also in another organization. And I completely agree with Radhika ma'am that school leadership is a very complex role, a very complicated role because it has like multiple competencies are involved, and there are multiple stakeholders that you have to deal with, and like so many decisions every single day. It can be it can get very overwhelming at times. So I think when I joined the program, like I what I had in mind is to hone like these competencies. Like I really wanted to see whether um, or basically assess myself as a school leader, more as a school leader, and then also see which are the areas where I need to really push myself. um, and I think this program really did justice in doing that, because like ma'am said, it was a very rigorous program. It has been a very rigorous program right from the start. um, and just every session, uh, the facilitators, I really enjoyed each and every session that were led by the facilitators. And um, like there was so much to learn every single time, that it was like, even if I had to, like, if you miss a session, the recording, like, I had to really pause and take notes. So there was so much to learn from. So I would highly recommend this program for each one of you.
Thank you, Jason. Thank you for the kind words. And I'm also picking up on this thing that you said, that there are so many decisions to be made, and decisions that will not simultaneously make everyone happy. But you need to balance that as a school leader. We're going to talk about all of these things in a bit. But I want to take everybody who's joined us, I want to take everybody through basically our program structure and what competencies we are covering through the program. Like I said, this program is meant for both current and aspiring school leaders who wish to transform their schools. So, if you're in a school teacher position or in a school leader position today, and you recognize and realize that your school, whether it be the school that you're currently working in, or a school that you want to start working in, or a new school that you want to start, there are some things that you want to transform in the way the school is functioning, and for that you personally need to develop certain competencies, then this is the program for you. And how we've structured the program is that first we begin with a lot of self reflection. So we create vision boards, we deep dive into what are the top priorities for our school, what are the top three priorities for myself as a school leader. So we begin with a lot of self reflection on our own leadership style and our own leadership journey, and then we go much more deeper into what are the domains that a school leader must really focus on. And we've thought that these three domains of instructional, interpersonal, and administrative leadership is something that every school leader has to and will always have to sort of focus on. What we do for instructional leadership is competencies on building structures around professional development for your teachers, building structures around well-being for your teachers, working for student growth and student well-being. So that is what we do in instructional leadership. Interpersonal leadership, I'm picking up on Jason's point, there are multiple stakeholders with multiple interests, and balancing that is honestly not an easy job, and the competencies that you require for that is something we focus in the second module. And the last bit that we focus on is administrative leadership. Especially in a lot of school systems, school leaders spend a lot of time doing documentation work or administrative work, or just doing child minding business. But how do you as a school leader effectively manage all of those duties, and therefore have a lot of time still left out to think about innovative ideas, to think about transformation? So that is something that we do in the last domain that we are catering to for the in the program. And the last thing that we do is that the premise with which we work in the program is that you want to transform the school system in some way. And therefore, what are the processes that you can put in place? What are the structures you can put in place? How do you manage change, and how do you manage resistance to change? Is something that is are the competencies that we are working in the program. Um, this is actually a very comprehensive list of competencies and sub competencies that we are working in, and this will be available for you to deep dive into if you would like to. um, Now, I want to talk about also how actually we do the program. One thing is, obviously these are live workshops. So, like Jason said, we have expert faculties on board. One of the faculties has been a co-founder of many schools and universities in India, and therefore has worked as part of a from a school management point of view. And another one of our faculties is from the Cambridge University Press. He has been a school leader himself, and he's currently working in a school inspector role. So these expert faculties will conduct live workshops every alternate week for 14 weeks with you, and you get that amount of interaction and exposure to these faculties through our live workshops. Second thing that we do is that we want to make this very meaningful and hands-on for someone coming in, and this we do through a capstone project. So throughout the 3 months that you are with us, you would be doing a capstone project where you are picking up on each element of your school and looking at how you can transform that, and just starting off with small steps right away in your own school, or in any other school that you would like to work in. The third thing is that we have very small cohorts of mentoring groups. So these are mentors who are career growth coaches, who are career transition coaches, and they are basically there to help you go that one level up in your career. Or and we give a lot of one-on-one time with the mentors as well. And the last thing about the program is that we provide career growth support for the next academic session. So if you would be joining in for this session, you would get career growth support for the entire academic session of 2025. Uh,
Fantastic.
in that, what we do is we give you a lot of exposure to potential employers, to potential schools who are looking for school leaders who are certified, or teachers who are certified to become school leaders. And this is a program format that we work with. So I just want to stop here and ask if you all have any questions for us, and you can put them in the comment section and we will get to those questions. So meanwhile, your questions are pouring in. I want to just talk to Dr. Radhika and Jaisal about how their experience has been with the school leadership program. So I know you've both said great things about how it helped you. More specifically, what I am asking is that when you joined the program, what were some of the expectations that you came up with? What were your goals? What did you want to achieve through this program? And by the end of the 3 months, what do you think? How do you think the program has helped you get there? So if you could just maybe reflect on that and share with everybody.
Yeah. So, as I said, this, I'm fairly, what should I say, been in a school leadership role for a longish period of time. So, as compared to a new school leader who is looking for strategies or looking for tools or looking for ways in which to achieve the best success at that position, for me, I was looking at learning from my peers because, something in the context of my school, there could have been an issue, a problem which any of my peer group in from another school or in another leadership position, I would have been able to take notes from them. That was one. Secondly, I think leadership is a very, very dynamic. This is a very dynamic position, and every day and every single minute there are changes made in policies, changes made in our roles. So post covid, roles of every teacher, every institution, every this thing changed so dramatically. So if you are in your own school, you just feel that, I have done the best that I can in my school, and this is the best way to do it. So I needed to challenge myself to see that, is this really the best way to do it? Perhaps a fresh perspective into the way I do things, and the way that I need to mold my leadership style with different people. That was what I was looking for, especially. And I found it very fulfilling. As but It was challenging in the way that, because of my extensive responsibilities, I had to really work hard to keep things tight and plan and submit my projects and my assignments, which is also a lesson in time management, because we're always challenged for time. So I found it rewarding that I should be challenging my own perspectives. I should be challenging my own biases if I have any, because we do consciously or unconsciously fall into a plateau, and
Yeah.
we need to challenge that plateau and push ahead.
That's such a great motivation. So a lot of people around here with a lot of experience do wonder as to what is something new that they would learn in the program. But the sheer opportunity to be around so many people who are doing different things in their own context, I think that is one opportunity that really the program has brought. And you were talking about there are some that we get into a plateau and we get into a system of working that works well for us. if you're comfortable with, could you recall any of these moments where you had that aha moment, like I was doing this so far, but this is another way to do it. If you're comfortable and if you can think of something, maybe if you would like to share that with us.
Yeah, I would need a moment, so perhaps you
Okay.
can move on with Jaisal. I'll come back to
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Jaisal, why don't you tell us what were some goals that you came in mind with, that this is what I want to achieve through the program, and how did the program help you with that?
Okay. So when I had read about the program, what I had mostly in mind is that, it has, like, because I had attended leadership seminars, workshops earlier also. So I thought that, this program is offering a project based learning also, where it will be like an assessment for me. So I was keen on seeing that, this is something where I'll be able to apply my skills. um, and honestly, I was not very much aware that this will be an experience where I'll get to interact with people from so many different um, contexts, basically school and education related. But for me, they were very different contexts, because I have always worked in schools, like where we deal with children coming from low income groups. So for me also, to get to work with people from different backgrounds, like being in the educational field from different backgrounds, so that was a plus. I would say that was a highlight for me, because honestly, I didn't expect this program to give so many opportunities to interact with peers, to actually have these kind of breakout rooms and discussions in every session. I was expecting it more to be like theoretical, and something that we can take back and then go back and reflect that how do I apply. But honestly, like, every session was such that there were tasks and there were things in the session itself, where we had to discuss with our peers. We were given a task and actually implement the learnings in the session itself. So I think that was a big highlight for me, where I think about this program.
Yeah,
And
that
like
is
ma'am
so
said,
good.
time management is definitely something that this program pushed me also. That how do I manage my work routine with this additional commitment that I've made? So definitely, it was something that pushed me to manage my time better.
Thanks, Jason. Those are really kind words, and I'm so great. I'm so glad that you said that the program gave you opportunities to implement things and talk about implementation right away. And that was sort of CENTA's motive behind designing it. That it should not. Yes, there is theory, and yes, theory is important, and that's why we have post session readings where it's a lot more theoretical and research oriented in nature. But the sessions need to be those places where we try to deliberately build a community of people who are doing it, who are practicing what the theory is. So thank you, Jason, for that. Um, Radhika, ma'am, if you need some time, that's fine.
No,
We can
no.
talk.
So I definitely. So for me, I think one of, like, there were many aha moments, but one thing which I really liked was the action research component of the capstone project, which pushed you to draft a certain a policy or a strategy, implement it, and write down the learnings, and this thing, the learnings. I think a lot of educators need to do a little bit of action research in their own classrooms, in their own space. I mean, not everyone is going to be intellectually motivated to do an MPhil or a PhD, but these are the small action research projects which they should do. Does this strategy work in maths? Like, can I use this for table drill? Can I use this for vocabulary? Can I use, so all, getting into an action research mode is what piqued my interest, and that was one of the aha moments. many other things like the skill will matrix, and putting your the employees into that skill will matrix and trying and map competencies. um, that was one of another moments. Then how to maximize on parent communication, what are the ways that we can engage with parents as stakeholders. There were many such points which came up during our breakout rooms, as Jaisal mentioned, and in those small cohorts that we met, and even during the sessions, we were always encouraged to speak, and it was not meant to be a monologue. So the facilitators always ensured that there was a healthy dialogue, and there was enough time and opportunity for everyone to indulge in dialogue. Otherwise it would have been like just a monologue where it was like a lecture format, and you can't share your input. So it was never ever like that. I think both the all the facilitators ensured, even all our expert sessions, those were also very fantastic. So I loved with Kiran Bir Sethi or Mr. Francis. Those experts sessions were also very good because it gave us an opportunity to interact with them in a small group. I've heard some of them in webinars and I've attended webinars, but to be in that small group space, and to ask your questions, your and get some clarifications was that was a very unique opportunity as well.
Great. So we were just couple of days deliberating on how important it is for school leaders to actually read research and do research of some sort. It may not be as theoretical as a PhD student would do, but it is still very much on ground and still very much impacted by reality. Um, so thank you for
So
bringing that point up.
if
And
Centa would I think help maybe school leaders to at least publish papers, research papers, may or may not lead towards a PhD. I think that would be a great help also, because
yes,
there is a wealth of information, and how to actually put it together in the format of a research document, and for others to gain from that, from a research paper. So if Centa can put together a group of people who would like to work on certain topics and publish a paper, I think that would really help, and
that
because it would lend credibility to their work as well.
That is that is a great idea. In fact, as a cohort of school leaders who are just coming out of a program, I think it would be a great initiative for all of the participants to actually come together and form a group of people who want to read and write and publish. Uh, so yes, Dr. Radhika, thank you for that. Let's do that.
Sure.
um,
this
uh,
is this is really coming from the place that I've completed my PhD little over a year back, so it's very ideological, this thing in my head.
I get that. Jason, do you have any of these aha moments where you like, oh, this is very interesting, or things that you really enjoyed doing during the program?
Um, so I really enjoyed actually most of the like attending the sessions by these facilitators, especially Mr. Steve. I really enjoyed his sessions, um, and also by Mr. Craig from ASB. I think the way he started the session, and he showed us just one picture and where to think of how does that picture connect to leadership competencies and all. So, and then he had come with a list of books for us. So I think it was very, very engaging, and I've actually made a separate book and written down all of these things. And also, so I remember there was this data driven session by Mr. Steve, and where he showed us how pivot tables can actually, make it so visual. And that was the first time when I saw like how pivot tables can actually be so effective. And I've actually then went on and gone ahead and used it in my school as well in my role. So I think these, I mean, there were many aha moments. Actually, I cannot recall right now. Um, but each of these things, again, like how do you attract and retain teachers? So again, that was a very interesting session. How do you have the change management session on change management? Again, when there is resistance, how do you deal with resistance? I remember there were steps, like it was actually broken down into step 1, step 2, and we then had a case study where we had to like clearly then think about these steps for that case study. So I think uh, every session has given that opportunity. And of course, I think the most important thing is that there was always this space to ask questions from the facilitators. So I think that was really helpful, that we could really ask, because many times I felt like there were things which, as a whole group, there were things which I wanted to ask specific to my context, and I got that opportunity every time where I could clarify doubts, about the questions that I had. So I think every session was very enriching, I would say. And even the ones that I missed, I think I've really, like I said, like I have watched the recording like so slowly, like pausing at each, like after every 2 minutes, and really making my notes. So I think a lot to learn from the peers and from the facilitators.
All right. Thank you so much for that. So while we were, so I'm thinking about the pivot tables part of it. So we were thinking whether it would really make sense for a school leader to go so deep into data analysis. But we've gotten the feedback that it is great for a school leader to have that kind of exposure, because there is just so much data around school leaders, and there are so many points where data is coming in. And if only they had the tools to really work with it, so that it doesn't feel overwhelming or doesn't go to a complete waste. So thank you, Jason, for bringing those points up. Um, Quickly, I want to talk about one another element of the program, which is the certification. So CENTA, as a registered trademark in education, can also certify individuals based on certain assessments. And with the CENTA School Leadership Program, we also offer the opportunity for you to become a CENTA certified school leader. And how that works is that you give three components of assessments. One is a teaching quotient in the school leadership track. One is a capstone project, which is what the action research is that Dr. Radhika was talking about. And third is you undergo an interview with an expert educator. So once you go through these three components of assessments and you meet certain cutoff criteria, you are eligible to become a CENTA certified school leader, and that can do wonders for your career growth. While we are also providing career growth support, the CENTA certification is something that can significantly boost your own career growth, and that is something that you would individually do with us. Um, I again want to stop. If there are any questions from the audience, you can put it in the comments, and then we can respond to that. Um, So I now want to just jump into how you can actually register for the program. So my colleague Harsha, if you can share the link for our participants to register for the program in the comment section. So you can go to this link. You can go to the CENTA website and go to the school leadership program. We currently have a 10% discount running on the program, but it is only valid till tomorrow night, and it is only valid for everybody. Only valid for only those people who joined this webinar with us, because we know you're so interested in the program. So please, we've put a link in the comment section. We would love if you could just go to the link, read up a little bit about the program, think about what you've heard from me, from Dr. Radhika, from Jason, and register. Good evening, Dipti. So, since and if you have any questions about the program, we would love for you to write them in the comment section, and we will take them up. and you can also see the link to register for the program in the running horizontal line below the at the bottom of the video. So I want to just wrap up this webinar today here by saying that we at CENTA warmly welcome you to our community of school leaders. Once you join the program, we will handhold you throughout the 3 months of the program. And as our participants have already told us, it's a lesson in time management, but it's an effective lesson, and it's a lesson that you will carry for your life and throughout your career. So please do join us, everybody. You may go to the link in the comment section, and that will direct you to all the information that you need for the program. Thank you, Dr. Radhika. Thank you, Jason, so much for joining us today, and thank you for sharing your experience with us. And thank you all of the participants who have joined us today. And if we have any last words from the participants, we would love to hear them. You can put them in the comment section. Meanwhile, Dr. Radhika Jaisal, any last comments that you want to close with?
So I just want to say that I use this quote a lot. It's a quote from Arthur Ashe, and it says, "Start where you are, use what you have, and do what you can." So just don't think that I don't have the time, I do not have the resources, I do not have the bandwidth. You will never have it. So you just need to start where you are and take small steps towards your leadership journey. And wishing all the participants of the next cohort all the best. uh, Proud and happy to be in the first cohort. Hopefully we will graduate soon and get our certificates. Thank you.
Sure. Jaisal, any last comments from your side?
Yeah, I would like to share one line, which I had, um, which really actually stood out to me from Mr. Craig's session, that I'd made a note of it, where he had asked us that, how much time are you spending on yourself, um, investing on the parts of the job that you are most passionate about, and if you're not, then what's stopping you from investing more on yourself? And that really caught me, that, oh, this is something that I really need to ask myself. And I think I would want to leave the potential participants here that, this is a, like, it's a worth, this program is really worth it. And you need to ask yourself this question, that if you want to really grow, then what's stopping you from growing and investing on yourself?
Thank you so much. Those are really motivating words to end a webinar with. And I'm sure all of the people who've joined will at least go to the center website and have a look at the program. We've also put a link for a feedback form in the session. If you could all just go to that and let us know how you like the webinar. Thank you again, everybody in the audience, for joining. Thank you, Dr. Radhika. Thank you, Jaisal. And thank you, Harsha, for the support. So that's a wrap. Thank you, everyone. Good evening.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.